The University of Alaska Anchorage consists of 7 campuses across a large geographical area. With its main campus in the state's largest city, UAA serves over 22,000 students. The university strives to continually enhance its emergency response and incident management ability through developing sound plans and exercising those plans. The traditional role of most faculty and staff members does not include training or responsibilities in dealing with emergencies and disasters. But increasingly across the country, university employees become first responders to hazards of all sorts. The proper planning, training, and exercising can help reduce the loss of life and property. Using a whole community approach, the University Police Department's Emergency Management Office has been developing working relationships between UAA and emergency stakeholders throughout the state. Collaboration in planning, training, and exercising has been taking place with public safety responders, healthcare facilities, local emergency planning committees, non-government organizations like the American Red Cross, as well as the Alaska Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and others. While the Anchorage campus employs certified police officers and a 24-hour emergency dispatch center, the community campuses are located far from Anchorage and must rely on their community fire and police responders. In a disaster, the university realizes that public safety resources will be stretched thin, and managing the emergency using employees and equipment already on campus becomes a vital consideration. Campus Community Emergency Response Teams, or CSERT, plays a vital role in stabilizing a serious incident until professional responders can arrive on campus. During their basic training, CSERT members learn to size up an emergency scene, to conduct light search and rescue, to engage in medical triage and first aid treatment, moving injured people to safety, handling small fires and keeping them from becoming bigger fires, and receive training in awareness of their role in terrorism events. The training courses also covers disaster psychology, team management, and documentation. The Anchorage campus has also created a police auxiliary team trained to direct people and direct traffic. As a chapter of Volunteers in Police Service, or VIPS, they assist UPD at large events and emergencies. The VIPS members are full-time employees who volunteer to receive specialized training in searches, exercise development, incident command, and many other topics. The Emergency Management Office has helped create, train, and test an Incident Management Team, or IMT, at each campus site. While the chancellor or campus directors have the ultimate responsibility for safety and security at their sites, the IMT members have the responsibility for deploying during serious situations on or near the campus and executing the emergency operation plan on behalf of the administration policy team. During a crisis, the IMT will gather information about the event, assess its impact on the campus, and decide on a course of action to stop the expansion of the hazard and recover from its effects. The incident management team consists of representatives from the police department, dean of students' office, advancement public affairs department, and facilities and campus services. Campus responders could include groups of trained faculty and staff on campus community emergency response teams or the police auxiliary emergency team. Knowing the contents of the emergency operation plan can guide decision makers and responders to act swiftly in a manner that minimizes errors and maximizes the use of limited resources when they're needed most.
Because of the commitment that this university has shown to emergency management, we've been able to roll out several drills for anything from earthquake preparedness to active shooter, plane crash exercises. We've done a lot of tabletop type training with FEMA and through the federal government that shows us that what we do and what we have been trained to do actually works. God forbid we ever have to actually use it in a real life event. We know that through the scenarios that we've worked on together as a team, that even in chaos, we will prevail.
I think support for emergency preparedness by the senior leadership, not only the institutional leader, but the whole team, is critically important, because it's essential that when we have contingencies, that in the first time we've thought about it, or our first opportunity to react, we want to be sure that we understand experiences that other universities have had in incidents of various kinds, all the way from natural disasters to behavioral issues to crime issues, anything that threatens the safety and well-being of our students and staff and faculty and the public who's on campus. And so you can only do that effectively, in my experience, through exercising and being sure that you have all the materials, the supplies, the team, and an expanded team that can come together quickly. And you get that capability by exercising it. You don't get it by reading about it or talking about it. You have to practice it.
Point of view, an opportunity to really test out all of our emergency preparedness guidelines, our teams. Really gave our IMT group a chance to fully engage by having scenarios and having real-time folks playing different roles. I think everybody got to get a bit of a feel for what it's like. Obviously, it's not a real earthquake, but it brought to home how important being prepared for one is. And several of the scenarios were very effective, I think, in helping people realize, hey, this is a.
During a recent earthquake exercise, it was simulated that a large magnitude earthquake caused damage and injuries at multiple sites across our many campuses. It was assumed that police and fire responders would be overwhelmed. So Campus CERT and VIPS volunteers were dispatched to a residence hall on both the Anchorage and Soldotna campuses. They immediately did a scene size-up of the exterior of the buildings to determine if it was safe for them to enter with only the gear they brought with them. Their campus IMTs were activated, and they in turn stood up an Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, to give support and coordination to those in field. The IMT began gathering information about the impact of the event from telephone, satellite phones, and radio traffic in the field. They then created a list of primary objectives in order to stabilize the scene and respond to save lives and property. At the same time, IMTs of various community campuses were also asked to answer questions about the extent of damage on their sites and evaluate whether support will be needed to keep utilities working. They were asked to send a situation report up to the Anchorage main campus EOC. The CCERT and VIPS responders assigned leaders who requested support through the EOC for a post-disaster damage assessment team and for electricians to bring in a generator and emergency lighting. They then began a thorough room-by-room search and rescue operation. As earthquake mock victims were located, responders did a quick triage assessment and reported their findings to Incident Command. Later, they provided first aid treatment and moved the victims to safety in or near the lobby for eventual transport to a medical facility by ambulance. Victims with relatively minor injuries were put to work assisting in the response. On the Soldotna campus, paramedic students were used as role players, simulating ambulance responses, and CCERT members briefed them on patient status. Once all victims had been found, treated, moved, and documented, the exercise play was called to an end. Actors and responders gathered for a verbal debriefing to discuss what actions went well and which actions decided upon or protocols needed to be reviewed and enhanced. The exercise coordinator took notes to compile later in an after-action report. In times of crisis, the staff assigned to work in the EOC will be placed in roles similar to what they do every day for the university. They will field requests for support to field responders, gather information for comprehensive situational awareness for the IMT, and help give the media the information they need to help keep the public informed. A separate area will be used for on-camera interviews. In a real disaster situation, the IMT will be expected to provide briefings to the Chancellor and his policy group. They would also assemble briefing reports to forward to the university system IMT. From there, requests could go to the borough or state EOCs for additional support. Our work in developing interagency collaboration and training opportunities will make these kinds of lateral and vertical support requests more fluid and seamless. It has taken years for the state of Alaska to create a comprehensive framework of coordination, and the University of Alaska is one of the newest participants. The university's emergency management program strives to develop, nurture, and enhance partnerships with emergency stakeholders at all levels. For more information about the University Exercise Program, contact the UAA Emergency Manager at 786-1120.